What's up, traders? Hope you're having a great start to the beginning of the year. I had a rather serendipitous day today because just earlier in the morning, I looked at a trade on a stock that I wanted to trade based upon Ichimoku and a strategy that I've used in years past. I wanted to get back into this strategy, which is where my education and technical analysis was really founded. And so I'm getting back to my roots. And it was interesting because I was watching Mr. Splick's stream today, and he too was expressing an interest in Ichimoku and learning it himself. And so, a shout out to him, and thanks for inspiring me to make this and talk about Ichimoku. And we'll use the dollar as the example. And so, I'll share with you guys what I think is important in Ichimoku. And so the first question I actually got asked in a comment was, what settings do I use for Ichimoku? And my response to that was that I am a classic Ichimoku trader. And that means I use this basic standard inputs, 9, 26, 52, and a 26 displacement. Now, a lot of people want to change that up. They want to maybe use 30 because there's 30 days in a month, or 24 because there's 24 in an hour, or maybe they use multiples. But the thing I've always told people is that consistency is the key. In other words, pick a number set that you believe in and then stick with it. That's where the benefit of the pattern recognition comes in, because what you're ultimately trying to do is use Ichimoku to take price action, which can look very random and chaotic, and then normalize it into patterns that you can recognize. And one of the most common patterns that we're going to talk about right now is the cloud. We won't worry about all these other lines for right now. So we're just going to go ahead and take those off. Later videos, we can talk about these. So we're only going to look at just the cloud and the Chikou, and that's momentum. And we'll talk about that in a moment. So basically, when price is above the cloud, that means that it is bullish. So when price is above the cloud, that would be a bullish sign. And when price is below the cloud, that is a bearish sign. Simple enough. And so as something is trending bullish or bearish, depending on where it is in relation to the cloud, that is what we're going to say that it is. Very simple technical analysis right there. When price gets into the cloud, we can say that it's neutral. And so one of the key things we want to look for is we want to look for price when it's coming out of the cloud. This can be an important sign for us for when the trend is about to change. And if you notice right here about October, November, on the daily chart, price on the dollar index we're looking at right now, DXY, started to get out of the cloud, but it didn't quite make it. Let's look back a little bit in the past. And so actually, let's go up to a higher time frame. That's a better example. Let's look on the weekly. Weekly will clean things up a little bit. Now, if we look here, we can see that we are clearly price is below the cloud. Whereas for most of 2018 and 19, price was above the cloud. So what really helps us separate all of this out? Well, that's why I left this purple line right here. The Chikou can be used as momentum. And we want the price and momentum to both match. Let me show you why. So if we go back here in time to March of 2020, in other words, when we had this COVID crash, price did in fact get below the cloud, but we shouldn't jump in bearish just yet. What we want to see is we want to see the momentum also get outside the cloud at the same time. And if we look, it wasn't really going to do that. And sure enough, this was a failed breakout. And up it goes. But now let's look and see what happens on the second time that price got outside of the cloud. I may have to jump ahead. Let's just do this. And then we'll go back to this date here. Okay, so now at this point, price is coming out for a second time. Now, when does that purple line also get us out of the cloud? Come on, daily, each. There we go. So at this point right here, we're coming to these lows, but Ichimoku is telling us that price is below the cloud, as well as momentum being out at the same time. At this point now, we have a good reason to think that this is bearish. In fact, going to trend bearish. And that's exactly what it did. What if we go back to the situation here where price first got outside of the cloud when it was going bullish back in August of 2018? Well, it hesitated for a good long while. As you watch that purple line, as it's in the cloud, let me just hit play right here. That might make things better. Yeah, as we watch that purple line, let's see when it does decide to get out. Okay, now it is, it's messing around. Now it's out. And now we can say that we are bullish. And while this bullish trend is slow, as long as it remained outside the cloud, this remained in a sustained bullish trend. And so that's how you can use the purple line, the Chikou, and price and cloud to understand how things are trending in relation to Ichimoku. That's probably one of the simplest and basic components of Ichimoku. And so I've laid the foundation there to now talk about the longer term picture of the dollar. And so if we go to the monthly on the dollar, we can see what it's doing. Price has gotten outside of the cloud here. And where is momentum? Can we see? Let's make that a little bigger. It's just starting to come out. Now, a couple of things could happen. Momentum could stay in the cloud on a pullback up to here and it not be bearish. But even then, it's still in a danger zone that it could come back out. So we are definitely on a precarious edge here. The only thing you can really do for confirmation is wait for the close of the bar. So in other words, we need to wait for the close of January's bar to tell us one way or another which way this can go. Because the Chikou itself is really just the closing price shifted backwards 26 bars. So once these bars close, this Chikou is basically written in stone, just as the cloud already is written. So by the end of the month of January, if you come back and look at the DXY on the monthly, where this purple line is in relation to the cloud is going to be incredibly important. So look for more videos if I get some good positive feedback from this one, and we'll talk about some more Ichimoku concepts. But hopefully this should get you started on one of the basic fundamental components of how to use this indicator set. We'll see you in the next video.